Hello, guys. This is Mark Sent for Brazil and Subtitled. As you all know, your channel to get to know all you ever wanted to know about Brazil, but in English. I am a privileged guy, and in the past 2 weeks, I have seen this more and more. This nice fellow by my side here is Dave Summers. He is the Caipira gringo, right? Dave is friends with Kevin, with Neil, with the great Safe, and they always study, yes, Portuguese with the most famous teachers in the world, Adriele and Ludmila. In the past 2 weeks, I lost the count how many times I've heard of these two girls. According to the guys, they are amazing. So, first of all, Dave, thank you very much for accepting my offer to give me this interview, to talk to us here on Brazil and Subtitled, and to share this passion you also have for the country of Brazil.
Hey man, not a problem. It's a pleasure to be here on your show
Very much
or
so.
your channel.
Before it's you can say show, I will feel like David Letterman, no problem. Of course, I'm much more handsome, but this is another detail. But let me ask you, I'd like to start a little differently. I usually ask people to tell about themselves, but I want to start with Caipira Gringo.
Okay,
That's your channel on YouTube. Guys,
correct.
the name is right here, Caipira Gringo. Go there, subscribe to his channel, watch his videos. He has just started, just like me, right, Dave?
Right.
What is your purpose with the channel? Can you tell us?
Well, my purpose is I want to explain to Brazilians that there's more to the United States than New York, Miami, Los Angeles, or Atlanta, Boston. There's more to the Americas than just these big cities.
Wonderful. So your idea is to really become like an ambassador for the state where you live,
Exactly.
which is
Tennessee, the
Tennessee.
great state of Tennessee.
Tennessee. The first thing that comes to my mind is Johnny Walker Red Label. Is it from Tennessee? Johnny Walker?
Uh, say again the name.
Johnny Walker, the whiskey
Oh yeah,
from
Johnny
Tennessee.
Walker. Yeah, yeah. We have Johnny Walker, and then but we also have Jack Daniels
I,
whiskey.
I think I was thinking of Jack Daniels, Dave, but I was talking about Johnny Walker. I'm not sure Johnny Walker is from Tennessee now.
Johnny Walker is more of a I think a Scotch, like a Scotch Irish, like a bourbon.
I'm sorry, guys. It's really Jack Daniels. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Daniels. I live about 2 maybe 3 hours from Lynchburg, Tennessee, where Jack Daniels is made.
Very nice. So great. Now, please talk to the viewers. They are probably most foreigners about who you are. First of all, what you do. You just said that you are from Tennessee. Tell us about the rest, please.
Well, like I said, I'm from Tennessee, and I have been, okay, let's just say I work in my town for actually the United States government, which is but more in construction
Hmm.
company, and the city I live. It was a very important city back during World War II. Um, if you ever learn about the Manhattan Project or Secret City, this is where I live,
Are you
and
gonna laugh at me
my job.
something to you?
How did you know?
Are you
I
gonna
mean, say again.
are you gonna are you gonna laugh at me if I say something to you?
No, go ahead.
I just know the Manhattan Project because of the comic books.
Right, exactly. No, that's no
But
problem.
I think I forgot the name of the guy from the comic books. But anyways, but it was an important project, right?
Yes, very important project that helped bring the end to World War II.
Hmm.
Uh, and the city I lived in was very, very secret. Only so many people knew about it. It basically was created in 1940.
Wow.
So I mean, it's not very old, but my job consists of the tearing down and the cleaning up of the project since it's no longer in use.
Do you mind if I
I-
ask you if you're talking about the bomb? Is this the
yeah,
Manhattan Project? Was the
it was
the
part. It was part of the Oak Ridge was part of making. I think the Little Boy. There was Fat Man and the Little Boy, and I think Oak Ridge was part of the Little Boy.
um, well, it's so interesting. When you said that you worked with construction for the United States government, I wonder what you were talking about exactly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, we're doing a cleanup project, cleaning up everything and returning the site to where it was made or helped made back to nature, so to speak, or back to industry.
Dave, I like to go into details if you don't mind. Of course, I'm not going to ask you anything secretive so that the FBI or the CIA doesn't come to my door and say you're under arrest. That would be so cool.
FBI, open up!
Yeah. No, I'm good because I still like to travel.
That would be so cool to be arrested by the CIA, man. Like, okay, take me. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm good.
Right, but when you say like returning the sites to nature, it makes me wonder. Like, so this is a job that is so new for you, no? You haven't performed this for long because, or does it take so long? Because we're talking about 1940 something, and then when has the United States actually decided to take that measure? You know, to return things and you get my
It's yeah, I understand. It's a long process, and it comes to money in the budget,
bureaucracy.
and when it's time to return things back to normal, because 70 something years, it's a
Yeah,
long time.
that's why I ask you. Exactly.
So, but the city also is still part of the Department of Energy. There's still other parts of Oak Ridge that still are being used today,
Mhm.
and some of that stuff is classified. I'm not part of that because I'm not. I don't have um a background clearance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so what I can talk about is nothing. No, no FBI be knocking on my door. No CIA.
Oh, but this is
So, but it's because it's all deconstruction type deal.
this is really interesting. I think I will do this job for a living, I guess, interviewing people. Because you learn so much, don't you? Like I could never imagine I would
Oh
be
yeah.
to someone who works for the United States government. That's very interesting. How long have you been doing that for?
A little over 2 years right now.
Okay. Do you have your own
So
company or you work as an employee for another?
no, I work for a subcontractor.
Okay.
You know what a subcon? Okay, yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, I work for a subcontractor for the government. So
Do you have brothers and sisters? How old are you, first of all? I forgot to ask.
that's fine. I'm 38 years old.
Okay.
I have one younger brother, and then I have one I guess you would say stepsister. Um, yeah. So and
Uh,
she has a husband and two kids, twins. Geminos, Gemios.
yeah, gêmeos, exactly. Very
He's
nice. Guys, don't get surprised again. This nice fellow, as I said, studies Portuguese. He will be saying probably a few more words during the rest of the show, which is very nice of him, I have to say. My buddy Dave, let me ask you, what is a typical day like in your life? First of all, what is the name of
well.
the city again? I'm sorry.
It's Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge. Okay, very nice name. Oak
Right.
Ridge. What is a
Right.
typical day like there?
Uh, just in my life.
Yeah, specifically in your life.
In my life, and well, especially through Monday through Friday, I wake up very early. I go to work, arrive around,
Morning, right, Dave?
yeah.
Why so early?
very-
What time do you start work?
I start work around 4:30, 5 a.m. Right. So almost 10 to 12 hours a day,
Wow.
more or less.
Mhm.
And I drive a truck. Eu estou motorista.
Okay.
So I drive a truck all day with on the construction or the government site.
Okay.
Um, and basically, then I come home and I cook my dinner and watch a little TV and go to bed very early.
Okay. Yes, of course, because of the routine. You guys don't work weekends, do you?
Sometimes we work weekends, sometimes we don't. It just depends. Sundays definitely, but Saturdays maybe.
Hmm.
So, and then my weekend consists of either Friday night or Saturday night. I talk to my girlfriend on WhatsApp,
Hmm.
and then maybe eat lunch with my mother, or I just just hang out.
Okay. And a question I really need to ask you.
Okay.
How in the world did you get to fall in love with Brazil? And probably allow me to say that probably it's not only my question, but I'm not sure people around you understand that, right? Because
Oh yeah.
in Tennessee, and then you say Brazil, probably the first reaction is like turning of head and say,
Like, que foi?
talking about the country in South America? They probably
Right.
do this, no? So Dave, tell everybody, please, why Brazil? How did that start?
Or the first thing they ask me is like, do they speak Spanish in Brazil? And you're like, no.
People really don't know much about Brazil, right? They have no idea.
No, and that's another reason. It's just because of my channel for Brazilians. I have to explain in person about Brazil to Americans, but I prefer to talk to Brazilians about America. It may be easier.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, as I said on the phone, you're gonna get a lot of followers, probably, because
Well,
people are interested in the United States here a lot.
and actually, I mean, the idea of I thought about it a little bit, but then my girlfriend, really encouraged me to like, no, you need to make this channel. Just like you said, you get a lot of followers, a lot of interested people.
I,
And once I see these other people have these other, Americans have the channel, kind of the same thing. It's like, wow, that's a lot of people interested.
and you leave the other part for me.
Do what?
You leave the other part for me.
Exactly.
Showing Americans Brazil.
Exactly.
All right, I'll do this with all my heart. But okay, as you can see, I like talking, so I again cut you off. Please tell me how this infatuation started with the country.
Well, it all started with a friend of mine who lives very close to me, been a longtime friend. His wife is from Brazil. She's from originally from Guyana, but her parents were pastors, and they moved to Manaus. And he met her through a missionary trip or a mission trip.
Okay.
So fast forward to 2005, he led a missionary trip to Brazil, to Manaus. So hot, muito quente, and Manaus has two seasons: hot and very hot.
The word you guys
I know all about this.
correct? Scolding.
Do what?
What is the word in English? You say scalding when it's really hot.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. Scalding hot.
Scalding. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And when I was there, I fell in love with his mother-in-law and father-in-law, and then of course her. Then just fell in love with the country, the food, the culture,
On this meet
and
with their family.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Out of curiosity, you were just curious. That's the reason you came to Brazil, right?
Well, no, we came as a missionary group.
Okay.
So
Are you
a
part of the church too?
Yes.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah, the church in Manaus is part of the Church of God, which is Pentecostal,
Okay.
and they are associated in Tennessee
Very,
with the city of Cleveland, and so it's the International Church of God. So Brazil, Tennessee, that's how.
very nice. Very nice. And how
So
many days did you stay in Manaus for?
the first time was um, let's see, 5 days, just 1 week, not very long.
Okay.
And we built a wall, a security wall around the church.
Mhm.
And but it was a very, very awesome experience.
What were you guys trying to protect the church from?
The we was trying to protect the church from they installed a well for water,
Okay.
and people were coming in and stealing the well, the pump
Mhm.
off the well. So they needed a protection for, because this was a somewhat a new church.
Yeah.
So now it's well established, it's very nice, um, and everything's okay now. But at first, it was very difficult for them
So you
to
went
keep.
there just once, right?
Yeah, the first time in 2005,
Uh,
and then I went back in 2013 by myself
okay.
to do my own mission work to the same people, but in their house,
Okay.
because the pastor was very busy, helping other people that his own house needed help.
Okay.
So,
Just a detail, my friend. When you went to Brazil when you came to Brazil for the first time, you came to Manaus.
mhm,
Let's say it's not really the first spot people visit when they come
right,
to Brazil. It might be the same difficulty you have with Tennessee because people won't choose Tennessee at first, right? People will go to New
nope,
York. Exactly the same problem. But when you decided to come down to Manaus, did you have any prior knowledge about the country? Did you used to study about? Because I'm asking that for one reason. Uh, uh, the first place you visited will be in your mind as, this is Brazil. And when you get to know the rest of the country, you see that, wow, no, Manaus is nothing to do with the rest of the country because every city here is different. It's a continental country, right? If you see
correct.
São Paulo, when you look at Manaus, you're going to say, my goodness, I didn't go to Brazil. Get it.
Exactly.
So did you have any prior knowledge about the country when you visited Manaus?
The only thing I knew about Brazil was from movies, the Christ statue, the Amazon River,
Okay.
piranhas,
Okay.
anacondas, um, and just some places were hot, some places were really hot,
Mhm.
and maybe some snow in the very deep, southern part of Brazil. But
Yeah,
other than
I wouldn't call that a snow, but yeah, I get
that,
you. I get you. I get you.
but I seen pictures. But other than that, that was it. Basically, just the Amazon River and the Christ statue. That's it.
But that didn't define Brazil for you, right, my friend? Like, I mean, when I say that, a big respect for Manaus. I'm not saying anything, but you knew that there was more contrast.
Exactly. Yes, I knew.
Okay, great. And what happened from there? So after these second two visits to Manaus, right?
Yeah, two visits. During this time, I did meet a girl. Fast forward through that,
Mhm.
because I just went several times to Manaus. Say again.
I said, don't fast forward too much because I want to
Yeah.
hear.
Well, I mean, I just went to Manaus,
Uh,
to go visit her, and
from there,
say.
was from there. The girl
Yeah,
was from Manaus.
she was from Manaus,
Okay,
and I stayed there, and then of course I also stayed with the pastors as well.
very
So,
cool.
but yeah, but
Does your church have branches in other states in Brazil?
Oh yeah, any Church of God is associated with the one in excuse me, in Tennessee.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah,
But there are many branches. There is one in São Paulo, for example.
correct. Yes,
Oh, that's cool. But you've never been here.
but I've been to Sao Paulo. So that was 2013,
Uh-huh.
14, 15. Last time I was in Manaus was 2016.
Oh, you've been here
Um,
times before.
oh yes, but at least
Hmm.
4 times to Manaus.
For this two visits to Manaus, then the passion started to grow, I believe. Four
4 visits.
to Manaus. Okay. I was mentioning the first two.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So
Okay.
like this passion started to grow in your heart, I believe.
Yes.
Then how did that change you, my friend? Like, did you start reading more about Brazil? Did you start following the news? Tell me about it, please.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I started to watch, the football a little bit, but only when Brazil played or every 4 years because I like soccer or football, but only in the World Cup and only when Brazil or even the United States or Escocia, the Scotland plays. But
The
other
reason-
than that, I just never, because I did not grow up with football.
Yeah.
Only American football or baseball, basketball. So,
And soccer is getting more and more popular in the United States right now.
oh yeah, in the last 5 to 8 years, maybe 10, it's getting really more popular.
I got the feeling, correct me if I am mistaken, but I got the feeling that passion started after the World Cup 1994. I don't know if you remember. Brazil played there and won the championship.
Had no idea. In '94, nope.
But you didn't know that.
No,
You didn't know Brazil won a title in the United States soil.
I do now. I do now, but at '94, I did not.
Oh.
Had no clue.
Okay, but you're not learning this from me.
No. I know now because I know Brazil has 5, World Cups,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
I watched the German game. I've seen many Brazilians or many Brazil games now. So
Very nice. And do you like soccer a little bit better now?
I do, and like I said, only because when Brazil plays, or mostly when Brazil plays, but not. I mean, when the United States plays, of course, I'm American. I will, go for. But if Brazil plays the United States, I'm like, oh no.
And nobody's gonna judge you for that. Okay,
Right.
of course. I just have to confess that I was surprised when Saif said England versus Brazil. He rooted for Brazil in
Wow, really?
World Cup 2002, and we ended up winning. So he said, "Oh, my British friends who hate me, my British brothers who hate me, but I rooted for Brazil." So you've been here, as you said, multiple times before, right?
Yes, I've been to Manaus. I've been to Sao Paulo,
Okay.
and then the city of Sao Paulo, and then of course Piracicaba. Been to Chuquitiba, Feliz Presidente Figueiredo,
Okay.
which is in the very far north.
Yeah.
Uh,
All those places. Mhm.
I think that's all I remember. And then of course Rio.
Although
Been to
you
Rio.
went to the capital.
I've not been to Brazil yet. No.
No. I mean the capital of São Paulo. When you came to São Paulo, you came to the capital.
Yes, I've been
To big city.
Sao Paulo. Yes, to the city.
Tell me about your impression when you came.
Well, when I first came
Tennessee is
there,
not big, right? Your city,
uh,
Tennessee, is not big.
no, my city is not very big. Sao Paulo, the city is very big. I
Have you
mean,
been to New York?
yes, I've been to New York City. Yes,
You have experience with big cities. What was your impression when you came down to São Paulo?
it was beautiful.
Uh-huh.
It was very. It felt like I felt like when I was driving too that I felt like I was in America. The kind of the wide roads. I mean, not the streets, but
Yeah.
outside of the city.
Mm.
You know, I just felt like I was in a you know, American type city,
Okay.
and you know, parks and roads and restaurants, you know, avenues, you know, Paulista Avenue, you
Mhm.
know, everything.
How many days did you get to stay here when in this trip you're talking about?
On that trip was for 8 days on
For
that
eight
trip.
days. So you went around a lot, right?
Right.
Visiting places. Probably you had the girlfriend as a guide to show you around. Was it?
Yeah, that one was a different girlfriend.
I was a okay. If you don't want to get down to this detail.
No, 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 that's fine. We'll just kind of leave that one out because that one didn't end that well. So,
At least the tour was good.
but the tour was good. Yes, I mean it was good.
That will suffice, no problem.
Right.
Was it shocking for you? Because I'm asking you that because, as you said, Americans don't tend to know much about Brazil. Again, I'm not judging. That's not a problem because I told Neil this morning that I don't know much about my countries, the countries that are neighbors to us. Unfortunately, I think everybody needs to open their minds and visit everywhere. But I'm not judging, but was it shocking for you to see so many skyscrapers and towers and bridges and people and cars? 6 million cars in the city, my friend.
Oh
Six
yeah.
million cars. That's
Um, I think what was one of the shocking things for me was seeing the Japanese population.
you came to Liberdade.
Yeah, because it was the, you know, I found out it was the largest Japanese population outside of Japan.
Yeah, Neil, man.
We went to, I guess, what's the name of the city? Uh,
No, the neighborhood is called Liberdade
yeah, Liberdade.
because
And I was
freedom in English. It means
right,
freedom, right?
right. And when I was in Sao Paulo at that time
Mhm.
with, you know, the girlfriend at that time, her uncle was Japanese. No, 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 no. I'm sorry. Her aunt was Japanese. And her husband was Brazilian. So, you know, there was, and I met the kids, you know, they were older than me,
Mhm.
but, you know, you could see they had the Japanese facial features.
Okay.
They spoke Japanese and Portuguese. It was very interesting.
Well, that's funny because the Brazilian culture absorbs the Japanese in such a nice way. Like they become part of our country.
Exactly.
Respect, like we have big corporations like banks that open agencies in Liberdade, and they have the facade of the
Mhm.
of the bank decorated like Japanese traditions, and it's
Exactly. I seen that too on the main street, and I was like, wow, this is very cool.
it's so this was a big shock for you, right, Dave?
Yes, it was a big shock, and of course, I found out that, you know, Sao Paulo was the, you know, New York City of, you know, South America. So I can definitely see the similarities in this.
Very nice. What about the temperature? Did you suffer here? I don't know what the weather is like in Tennessee. I don't know if it's hot or cold. So,
Today was very hot. This is our summertime, verão,
yeah, sure.
and you know, today I think porque oh, sorry. I just
Go
want
ahead,
to go
go
talk.
ahead. If you wanna speak Portuguese, no problem. You can be
I will eventually, but to like today was 30 degrees grouse, you know, Celsius,
yeah, yeah.
más o menos. So very hot today. June, July, August for us is very hot.
Okay.
But when I went to Sao Paulo, I went in April, and I was actually with a fan, the ventilador,
Yeah.
going and the windows open. It was a little cool. I was very shocked because I only been to Manaus. And Manaus is like, you know, stay inside, air
Mhm.
conditioner, fans or
Yeah,
ventilators.
exactly.
So,
But
so when I was,
the high temperatures here are in December, buddy. December, January, maybe
right,
February, but not March, April. At
no,
this time period, it's so cool, chilly sometimes.
yeah,
So,
I liked it a lot. It almost felt like East Tennessee in our springtime.
right. Other than São Paulo, Rio, have you been to Rio?
Yes, I've been to Rio. Me and my girlfriend back in November, or I'm sorry, October.
Okay.
We went to Rio for a few days
Okay.
and stayed there. So, and I know she'll be watching. So, oi Amanda, oi amor. um, but yeah,
Obrigado
say
por permitir que
yeah.
o Dave
This
desse
is
a
this is
entrevista.
Mark, Amanda, Mark.
Amanda, obrigado por permitir a entrevista do Dave. Thanks for allowing Dave to talk to us. Very nice of you.
Beleza, awesome.
Mentioning your name, of course. Very good, Dave. Dave, how many days in Rio?
Rio, we stayed there for I think it was 2 nights, so it was 2 nights and like 3 days, so very short time. Because when I first came to back to Sao Paulo or Piracicaba, I was only there for 2 weeks, and it was a very fast 2 weeks, and then we finally got to go to Rio.
I didn't get to visit much of the city, right? Maybe
No.
Redentor. Sorry, you didn't get to visit much of the city.
No, because I mean we've seen a lot because she had been there before. She
Ah.
went there. She went there on a mission trip,
Okay.
and so she knew a little bit about the city.
Okay.
So she was kind of like my tour guide.
Okay.
But we went to of course, the Christ statue. We seen Sugarloaf.
Okay.
We, Ipanema Beach, beautiful. Oh, gorgeous.
Oh, amazing view.
Copacabana, and if Mark, or Kevin, you're seeing this, Gringo Cafe, delicioso.
Oh, I have to interview this guy, man, the owner of this place,
Uh-huh.
because he is as famous as Adriele and Ludmilla.
I fell in love with Gringo Cafe. I was like, this is because it's American food in the middle of Rio,
Oh, that's so cool. And the view. You have a good view from there, from the Gringo Cafe?
No, because it's kind of like it's in between Copacabana and Ipanema, so it's like you got surrounded by lots of buildings, so no beach view.
Very nice.
But I mean, it doesn't matter because I'm there for food.
Buddy, let's go to some tricky questions, okay?
Okay.
Ups and downs about Brazil, please. Open your heart to us. What did you like the most? What did you like the least?
Wow.
Sorry, I said it was tricky. I'm gonna put you in a hard spot.
That's a deep. Ooh. I would say the best about Brazil, as far as the people are awesome. They are very friendly. If you don't speak Portuguese, but you try, and I noticed that Brazilians speak with their hands, gestures.
Like me?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you say like, shirt or hat, they understand, but I would say, very nice, very friendly people. The down part of it is also would be many, people don't speak English or another language in Brazil. So this would be very difficult for if anybody trying to go to Brazil, it's like, hey, they don't really speak English a whole lot. So good luck. What is it? Only 5% of Brazilians?
But it's so hard to tell you this because my profession here. Have I ever told you?
I don't think so.
I'm
You may have.
Teacher.
Okay.
I'm an English teacher in Brazil. I've been a teacher for 20 years right now, and I have other 10 years of studies because I started when I was 10. I'll be 40 in 2 months.
Right.
So it's been like 30 years since I started studying the language. And I think I didn't get rich because I'm dumb, I guess. I'm dumb for business.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
Seriously, because I have read a magazine, buddy, that says that in Brazil there are 200 million people, okay?
Okay.
200 million people. 10 million speak English, but only 5 are fluent.
Wow.
So what happens to the rest of the 190 million people? Okay, let's take away the elderly, the children, and you have another maybe 120 million people. I don't know.
Right.
So leave your job there and come here with me. Let's open a school.
Yeah, English school. Not a problem. That'd be awesome.
I
but
know
but
two guys who have become billionaire because of English classes. I can send you the link in the end of the interview. The first
okay.
guy is Carlos Wizard. He is a Brazilian guy. He was the owner of a chain of schools. And another guy is Flávio Augusto da Silva. He owns Orlando City soccer team.
Wow.
Yeah, he's from Rio de Janeiro, and he became rich with English classes. His school is the biggest in Brazil today. The name is Wise Up.
I've heard of Wise Up.
Yeah, he's the owner. He's a billionaire. Why? English.
Wow. Yeah, something you need to up your game, buddy.
I'm trying, buddy. I think your interview is gonna help me a lot. People
but your English is very good. I mean, it's great.
thank you
Very
very
good
much.
English.
But it's not the way that I wanted. Okay, I still have a lot to learn. Like, I don't know many expressions, idiomatic expressions. I really wanted to master more. But okay, I'm on my
I
way.
understand that. I'm the same way with Portuguese. I'm not fluent, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. I think I have to say that I have gotten to a good level for a person who's never been to the United States.
Right.
I've never been to the United States before, so everything I learned from TV and schools and stuff. But okay, I ask you about the ups and downs, right? And
Right.
I want to ask you something today after this culture absorption and experience you have had with the country of Brazil. I'd like to know how different you are as a person because of that. This is something I asked Neo. I want to ask you, how much do you believe you have changed for getting to know Brazil the way you have? Has it changed in anything in you?
To me, I think it's because I have more. I, I have it's opened my world to having more passion for somebody else besides being an American, as they'd say, because many people are proud to be Americans, but they don't want to travel. They don't want to leave the states.
Okay.
And when I'm in Brazil, I mean, my heart. Say again.
That's very common there, right?
Right. Very common. And I mean, and I used to be that way. Don't get me wrong. When I was younger, I was like, I don't ever want to leave the United States. I don't ever blah, blah, blah.
Not at all.
So,
No judgment.
and then when I finally, not just traveled to Brazil, but, before Brazil, I've been to Canada, and other states in the United States. So, I mean, yes, I was still in the States, and Canada is basically just North America. But it just after I went to Brazil and I finally flew and left the States and came back, and then I've been back several times. It's just I love to go, and it's really opened my eyes to having passion for the people in a different country, different foods, different culture, different language.
Very nice. Buddy, I'm gonna pull another question
Okay.
connected to this one and say, now that you're different, now that you see the world with a different perspective, what do you say to people when you try to share this passion about Brazil and people say, why Brazil? What is your immediate response to that? How do you respond and how do you explain, like a baseball cap with the Brazilian flag, something that is on your shelf? What is exactly that you say?
I guess it would just depend on who I'm talking to.
Okay.
Now, if one person is, say, they're single, a male, and they're single, or females, like Brazil has a lot of beautiful people, and they love Americans.
Yeah.
So go.
Pretty much.
I mean, and I have one friend. He may never watch this video, but he actually went to college and took a Portuguese speaking class at the University of Tennessee,
Mhm.
and he speaks a little Portuguese. And he was on this mission trip with me, and I told him, go. I said, your most expensive part, go to Rio. I said, is your plane ticket. I said, Airbnb is cheap
Very nice.
there. I said, the food is, compared to, Hey Ice to American money. I said, you can spend 1 week in Rio and be fine.
Or
But to other people, I was like, I tell them that the country's beautiful. I said they have many beautiful mountains, beautiful sceneries, beautiful people. I mean, not beautiful people, but like loving, caring people. Very friendly.
Mhm.
So they there's so many different people in Brazil. From even different colored people, just like the United States. You got white Brazilians. You know what I'm saying? You got dark skin or black Brazilians. It's just many different many different things. And I just tell people it's a fun place to go. I mean,
Love
if you're not afraid to travel, go to Brazil.
and we love one another. The
Mhm.
Japanese Brazilians, the African Brazilians,
Exactly.
the Middle Eastern Brazilians, they are all welcome. This is amazing.
Exactly.
But when you turn on the television, you probably don't see much information, many news about Brazil, do you?
Only time I do is if I watch YouTube or maybe I watch the Jornal, right?
Mhm.
Um, just only if I look at YouTube or other apps on my TV.
Something specific, right?
For something specific, yes, I go. But as far as like anything, unless it's about the local or the current, coronavirus or COVID,
Okay.
about hotspot in Brazil. Other than that, no, nothing really local.
Does anyone know, like from your group of friends and family, that you're going to Brazil in August?
Just a few people right now because
Have they called you crazy?
do what?
Have they called you crazy?
No, nobody, because only ones that know is my mom and then a couple other close friends.
Mhm.
But they're like, great, that's awesome. We're glad you get to go, because I could not go in April because of the coronavirus hit really fast.
Ah,
So I
you
had to cancel
were supposed to
had to
have
cancel my flight.
before, right?
Yes. I was supposed to be there in April and I had to cancel, but as of today, I rescheduled and I'll be there in August for almost 21 days,
Mhm.
give or take.
Very nice. Very
So,
nice. How about your Portuguese? Tell me a little bit about it. Como está o seu português agora?
meu português está, muito bom, eu acho. Agora, por uh, alguma alguém dias, some days, right?
Yeah, algum.
Um, alguns dias. Eu escrever muito bom, ou eu ler muito bom, ou eu falar muito bom. But não juntos. Mas não juntos.
Not together.
Right. But eu falar com minha namorada todos os dias, eu escrever, ou uma vez por semana eu falar com vídeo de WhatsApp. Ou, and hoje todos os dias eu estudar no Yes Português com Adriela e Ludmila. No,
Classes are every day.
classes can be every day because I can. It's at your own pace.
Uh-huh.
So I can go every day, or I can skip a week, 2 weeks, or a month, and then just go right back.
You're
But
gonna
your
have a
course,
class today, or you have already?
yes, I already had one class today. You can do one class per day or two classes, three. It doesn't matter. But I've already done one class today.
Very nice. Very nice.
But
Did
I
you
speak
say you were going to have an interview? Did you mention
with
the
them.
interview?
Not yet. Just with Amanda.
Okay.
And of course Mark or Kevin and them. But I will after the interview is over today, I'll say, hey, I just did an interview, and when they post, I'll post it to the
Very
WhatsApp.
very nice. And how is your girlfriend's English? Is she fluent?
She's not fluent, but because she really only started back in February, but she knew some English before, so we could speak in Portuguese, as we call it, or Ingloise.
Oh, that's
But we communicate. But as we've gone to get to know each other more and more and more,
mhm.
we sometimes we speak more English, sometimes we speak more Portuguese. So it just depends, but we can communicate and
Yeah,
we understand each
but
other.
you
That's
guys
the most
speak.
important.
Sorry, you guys speak the language of love.
We speak the language of love, and
Hey,
but
bro.
she knows a little Spanish. I know just very little Spanish,
Mm.
but she knows more than me. But we would like to be fluent in English, Portuguese, and Spanish, all three
Oh yeah, that's cool.
together.
That's very cool. But when you hear bad news about Brazil, because they pop up from time to time, right?
No,
No, really? Like
no,
because
I
you
mean,
block yourself from seeing them, or
sarcasm.
oh,
Esto
okay.
sarcasm.
I should have been able to identify that by now. I'm sorry.
Sarcasm? No. All right then.
Desculpe.
So when you see those rain showers of bad news that sometimes fall, do you get disappointed? Do they convince you somehow about Brazil, or like no?
For
You-
me,
You're
no,
like a
because
person losing love. Like you don't see the bad parts, just the.
no, I mean I see the bad parts, but it doesn't discourage me from going back to Brazil or even living in Brazil one day, part time or full time, whatever. But it's just like the news here. It can be good, excuse me, it can be bad. So when I see reports about the virus or bad government or people robbing people, people dying, it doesn't discourage me. I mean, it discourages me, but it doesn't discourage me to continue to love Brazil, to have passion for Brazil at all. It just makes me feel more Brazilian, I guess, because I care about them than I do what I mean. I care about what happens here, but I also care about what happens in Brazil.
Very nice. So allow me to
Because when
ask
they
you. Sorry.
because when they shut the borders to Brazil, I was like, no.
Reopen. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, and
What do you
if you
doing?
say,
What do you think you're doing? Closing the doors.
yeah, exactly. Like, do you know who I am?
But do you? I don't remember. Do you guys need a visa to come down here now, or because I
Not
remember
no more.
Bolsonaro lifted the restrictions and stuff.
For people from Canada, Estados Unidos, Japão, Australia. Como se fala Australia?
Isso, fala com A. Austrália.
Austrália,
Isso.
né?
Mas é LA mesmo, Austrália.
Australia. And I
Isso.
think these four countries, but that was in 2018.
Oh, that's an
But
advantage for you guys, no?
it's a very good
It was
advantage.
very bureaucratic, I guess. for you.
It's as they say in America, it's a money racket. It's
Oh, yeah.
like you said. So
Not anymore.
not anymore, but with the exception of the opening of the borders to foreigners, now you have to have a visit visa, which is basically a tourist visa, because I'm not staying more than 90 to 180 days.
Okay.
No residency, yada, yada, yada.
Mhm.
But I also have to prove, and I have to take a COVID test saying that I'm negative. I have to show that. So I will get the test. I don't want the test because they have to shove that in your nose. But to go to Brazil, I will get this, and then I already have my passport and visa. So, and as you can tell, I'm packed, ready to go.
Wow. In advance.
I have been packed to go since February. Fevereiro.
Tell me about a passion, my friend. That's
But I also know that I have to wear a mask on the airplane, so I bought the Brazilian flag face mask. You know, it goes over your head.
Fantastic. You guys make me proud. Believe me, this group I have met, you guys make me proud. Let me tell you something, buddy. What do you have to say when the same question? Some of the questions I'm asking are similar because I can't get away from that. They are good. What do you have to say for the Brazilians who have low self-esteem when it comes to my country? Because I have a lot of people. Look, I was born and raised in Brazil, okay, in São Paulo, and I have heard many people, run down Brazil because of the corruption problems, because of many things we had, like violence, you name it. You know this.
Mhm.
They're not good news.
Right.
It's their old news. What do you have to say for those people who look at their own country the way they do, saying that sometimes the solution for this place here is the airport? What do you
Yeah,
have to say about that?
I've seen the video about this, and it's very sad because there's places like that here in the United States. The only way out is to leave. You know, where I grew up at in my county,
Okay.
which is very close to where I live at now. You know, a little poor. You know, very in the montañas. You know, very muitos caipiras. Just simple people, muito simples,
Mhm.
but muitos pobres.
Okay.
No tudo,
Okay.
but but just muitas drogas,
Mm.
muitas, it's muito ruim às vezes.
Okay.
But anyway, just when I graduated high school, I had to leave. I felt that I needed to leave. I love my county. I love my relatives. Well, I still have a fazenda
Okay.
farm. Faz,
Fazenda.
fazenda? Yeah,
Fazenda.
fazenda.
Yeah.
But my mom still lives there, and it's very very beautiful. But for me, just I understand this concept about but don't down talk it. Don't talk bad about it. I mean, you can, because if you're from there, but if somebody else is not, you need to defend it. Just like with Brazil, I'm not from Brazil, but I will defend Brazil.
Sure.
Uh,
Sure.
and just same with the United States. Many bad things, United States, but I love America. I love the United States. I will defend the United States.
Because there is
But
no solution in this kind of behavior, right, Dave? You won't change a thing, right?
no, but also too, if you feel that you need to leave Brazil on a plane, maybe it is a good thing for that person, but for all the rest of the Brazilians, it may not be an option. So you need to make the best of what you have or where you live. That would be my advice.
Very nice, buddy. Do you have a message for the foreigners who are watching us right now, and who are maybe, you know,
You talking about foreigners wanting to come to Brazil,
yeah,
or
they don't know if they should go. Do you have any messages to leave for these people? Maybe to assure them that it's not the bad fame that people see.
yeah, don't believe the movies. Don't believe the newspapers. I mean, maybe some of it is truth. Depends on, just like your Rio, the Disney cartoon. Everything looked real because one of the producers or characters was Brazilian.
Yeah.
If you're a director, like and stuff like that, if they're Brazilian, there may be some truth to it. But don't believe the hype. Rio is a beautiful city. They love Americans. They love foreigners.
Mhm.
Sao Paulo or even Manaus and all these places, there's poor places, and there's rich people, there's poor people in every country. There's rich cultures, there's poor cultures.
Mhm.
But to me, Brazil, I mean, like I spoke with my girlfriend, talked to you, is like, I would not mind living in Brazil for a short period of time or a long period of time. It
But
would
which
not, it
one is
would
your
not bother me.
choice? which city would be your choice? Rio. Have you discussed that with Amanda about that? Like,
We've discussed it. We've actually talked about, and it's actually a dream of ours. And after being together for just a little a little over a year,
okay,
that we would like to have a house here in the United States, but we would also like to have an apartment or a small house in Rio, to where Airbnb, but also too, if we're there, we have a place to stay, because we both love Rio. I mean, she loves it, and I fell in love with it.
yeah,
I mean, I would leave for Rio tomorrow, no problem. But I would leave for any part of Brazil tomorrow, because there's other places I want to visit. I want to visit Minas Gerais, where my teachers live. I want to visit, Natal, right? And I want to visit. I want to see snow in Brazil, and
South, yeah, Santa Catarina,
yeah.
Rio Grande do Sul, e
And
Paraná.
we want to go to Gramado,
Oh yeah,
because see, I see in pictures with Gramado, it's almost like a town very close to me called Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Very touristy tourist place, but the same buildings is almost like Gramado, and I was like, I really want to go there. So there's many other places, but we want to go to Argentina, or I do. We both do. Argentina, all these other places as well. But it takes money. I'm not rich, and that's something else too. Many people think that foreigners or Americans are very rich. I'm like, no.
yeah, but
This is not true, people.
but you gotta consider something. I also told Neil this morning when I interviewed him. You guys are like Kryptonians.
Yeah. I completely get that.
But please don't jump off a building when you come, okay? Just because you said that.
No.
But this is an advantage, isn't it? Tell me.
Yes, it is. I will definitely agree, because when I go to Brazil, even back in 2000, I don't remember 2005, but 2013, and the other times I've been, the hay ice has always been above $1 to 3 to 6 hay ice. Yeah. And, it's very good. I mean, my vacations can be a little cheap compared to what you would spend in the United States.
And longer.
And longer.
Yeah, you can visit more places, right?
Well, okay. For example, there I go again. Last year, I went to, well, me and Amanda, we love sushi. I mean, we love sushi.
Wow, that makes three of us. I love sushi too.
Love sushi. So we went to, a couple of one sushi restaurant in Rio and another one in Piracicaba.
Okay.
And for between the two of us, I did not spend no more than $20-something for a lot of sushi. I mean, muito satisfeito.
A lot of food, man.
A lot of food. And then I took, me and her family to a churrascaria in the I took 4 of us, and I spent no more than, I think, $35 for 4 people.
4 people.
Now, in the United States,
The best meat in the world.
Yes.
World.
Picanha. Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
How do you say that in English, buddy? Some people, I usually say top sirloin. I'm not sure I'm correct.
Yeah, you're right. It's top sirloin or just sirloin, but yeah, no, it's the same. But here you're going to spend $50 for one person, and that's at dinner, jantar. But lunch un poco barato, a little cheaper or más barato. But it's just crazy. I mean, and for me, that's another good thing for me about Brazil, because my money goes a long way.
Oh yeah.
But when Brazilians come here, it's like, what?
Don't forget it. In the past, it was paradise until we had the dollar at 2.50, something like that. It was okay. People went shopping. I don't know if you know that there were years that Brazilians spent something, I'm not exaggerating. You can check up the information. Something like $5 billion in the United States.
Yep.
On vacation, $5 billion. It was
I know.
during the Obama period.
Yep. They spend a lot of, especially coming to Disneyland or Disney World,
New York
coming to
City,
Florida, New York City,
because of the
Austin.
Apple stores and stuff,
Yeah, I see many people like in airlines, their carry-on luggage full of iPads, iPods, phones. Because I know in Brazil, your cars, your electronics, definitely your smartphones, very expensive.
because of the taxation.
Muito caro. And so when I go to Brazil, I bring these things here. I can buy cheap and bring them there, and it's all good.
Yes, that's true.
But even though here they're kind of expensive too, but still cheaper than Brazil.
Much cheaper, I believe. Much cheaper. Buddy, thank you very much for this amazing interview. I'm not gonna hold you anymore.
It's my pleasure, man.
Well, thank you very much, guys. If you're watching, don't forget to visit his channel. The name is Caipira. Big words.
It's there. It's there.
I have suggested or offered him to have some partnership in a few videos. He gently accepted, and I thank you very much for this. We're gonna be making some videos together. Maybe
Awesome.
figuring out expressions in our both languages. Like I say something, you say something. It's gonna be really fun. But please go there right now. In the end of this video, subscribe to his channel. Leave a comment to his videos. I have watched some of them. It's really cool. And thank you very much for staying with us up until now. It's been a pleasure to have you watching Dave giving me this interview. Thank you very much. Dave, thank you very much. Do you want to say anything else before we wrap up?
No, just I look forward to coming back to Brazil, hopefully in August, and maybe we can do an in-person interview. I can meet.
Yeah.
Because Sao Paulo is not very far from Piracicaba.
No.
What, 2 horas, más o menos?
Something like that, I believe.
Something like that. So maybe we can come down there and have an interview. But Brazil, I love you. I will always love you, and I can't wait to be back with you.
Very nice.
So,
one detail before we wrap up.
okay.
The other guys, I'll tell you as well. This is going to be a present for you. Okay, I don't know if you can see this really well. This
Yeah, I see it.
about the one part of the Brazilian history where the Portuguese family came to Brazil. Do you like history?
Yeah, love it.
You're gonna love it. The Portuguese family came running away from Napoleon, and they transferred the power, the kingdom of Portugal to Brazil. That was the only time in the history this has ever happened. It's like
Wow.
the Empire of England transferring the command to the United States.
Right.
Exactly what happened. So it's a very interesting book. I've been reading it. The words are very accessible. They're not difficult like historian words. Okay, he writes for the regular people to understand. Like me, I'm not a historian.
Right.
You're gonna have a sample of this book for giving me this interview. It's a present from the channel.
Oh, man. Muito obrigado por isso.
É em português, ok?
Sem problema. É
Então,
simples.
estuda bastante. Deixa a Ludmilla e a Trielle orgulhosas, porque você vai precisar do português aqui.
Beleza.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I look forward to working with you in the future.
Me too. Bye-bye, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Ciao.